Hey, love. Welcome to No Matcha, No Mama, the podcast where we pour a little matcha and a whole lot of truth. Each week, I sit down with someone I admire, founders, healers, creatives, and friends, and we sip a matcha I've made just for them based on what they love. I like to do everything with intention, from the ingredients in your cup to the conversations that we have. And the show is more than just about talking. It's about exploring how we can truly thrive through all the mess and magic of being human. Here we start with matcha because how we start matters. Today's guest is my friend Joslyn Davis. She's built a powerhouse career in digital media, hosting Clevver TV, reaching billions of views, and becoming a trusted voice in pop culture. But what I love most is how she's continued to evolve into a creator, a home renovator, and now a mother. She hustles, but with a heart, humor, and so much intention. So thank you so much for being here today.
Dina, you're bringing me to tears.
Well, I hope so.
Oh my gosh.
I want to do that.
Thank you. I need that every morning to hype me up when I wake up.
Should I record it for you and send it to you on audio?
No, you know what? I'll just download this over and over again every day because let's get those downloads, girl. Yes.
Well, I appreciate the support. So I made you a matcha. Let's start with that.
Yes, you did.
It is a dirty matcha.
Great.
So I added like a shot of coffee. And there's some cinnamon in there and some coconut cashew milk because that's
Girl,
the milk
I don't know what voodoo this is, but I can tell for the people listening, let me just take a quick sip, okay?
What do you think?
This is delicious. The tannins. I don't know the jargon for matcha, but I can just tell you it's delicious. And I've never met a caffeine that I didn't like. Actually, that's not quite true. Four Loko or whatever that was back in the 90s was
Definitely
probably not
like
the best.
That.
But this is delicious. And I love the coffee integration. I don't think I've ever had a dirty matcha.
I tried to make it for myself. Mine is a regular matcha because I cannot do coffee. I tried to integrate coffee back into my life.
And?
I couldn't do it.
Why?
Because at the end of the day, I felt so dehydrated. I got like an intense headache.
Oh, yeah.
So, and maybe it's because I'm still breastfeeding.
Yes.
Maybe I'll try again. But I did not like getting that headache. I've been off of coffee for like over 10 years. So at this point, maybe my body is just like, nope.
Oh my gosh, coffee. Dina, a life without coffee is just, I could give up pretty much anything else, but a life without coffee is something I truly cannot imagine. It's like a ritual. I mean, matcha's the same way too,
So is
right?
that your ritual in the morning? Because I was going to ask. Matcha is my ritual because without matcha, I wouldn't function. No matcha, no mama. Really.
Exactly. Well, no coffee, no mama. That doesn't sound very cool, but that would be my show. This is embarrassing, but actually I'm proud of this. And now Chris's family will find out that we have traveled to his parents' house before and I bring my own coffee maker to my room.
I bring my own matcha
so
everywhere I go.
If I wake up in the morning
and there's no coffee.
Listen, the world does not need to know a version of me that is uncaffeinated in the morning. And honestly, it's just one of those things that brings me joy and sanity, if I'm being totally honest, because I started drinking coffee in high school and that was like 400 years ago. So, I mean, I'm fairly dependent on it now, but it just makes me happy. Like our little mantra in our house is coffee until cocktails.
Amazing.
I could give up the cocktails, but
you couldn't give up the coffee.
And I don't want to, you know. I mean, I guess I could. Sure, could I? But no. So anyways, yes, it is a ritual and I love it. And this is delicious. Maybe this is my new ritual. I need a bunch of packets to mix together.
I literally my friends make fun of me because I literally bring packets of matcha with me on vacation and I make my own matcha at the table because nobody else's matcha is as good as the one that I make for myself. And I love Peak tea. That's what's
love
in it.
Peak, as you know.
Yes.
Also a fan. And I feel like maybe you should like turn this into an additional side hustle. Like start charging them for the matchas. Give them a little sip and then go table to table selling these. I'm like, obviously it's so funny. Chris, my husband, which feels funny to say to you, but for the people listening, we always joke that we're so entrepreneurial that everything we think about, we're like, well, this could be a business. And I'm like, just chill out. Not everything needs to be a business that we're creating, but this is wonderful. And I think anything that adds a little joy to your life.
Everything. Yeah.
Great. Travel with your
just like you travel with your
I do. I mean, I'm like not traveling with packets. I'm traveling with like
an actual coffee maker.
Yeah.
Like how big is it?
Listen, okay, I'm making myself sound a little wacky, which I am, but it is a travel mug size coffee maker. So it's not a Keurig, because I'm not a Keurig gal, but it's like the size of an individual Keurig. And so not even bringing like extra outfits, priorities. All
That
I
is your
have
priority.
is my child, her outfits, and my travel coffee maker. And the world is a happier place.
Whatever makes you happy, right? 'Cause
Yes.
that's what it's all about.
Yeah, and Chris too. I mean, he's never complained about it. So
Because he gets the coffee too.
it is kind of weird when people are like, oh, is there a smell of espresso coming out of the guest bedroom at our house? But
Yes.
whatever. Now the cat's out of the bag.
Well, you were such a major part of, I'm going to switch gears. You were
Great.
such a major part of Clevver's media rise. It became one of the biggest entertainment news brands on YouTube, and you were right there at the heart of it. If I'm remembering right, this was nearly 16 years ago.
So we launched Clevver. I was one of the founders of Clevver. We launched in 2008 in a garage in West Covina.
Wow.
We're talking major startup vibes. And I mean, we're sitting in a stunning, beautiful, legit studio right now. But it was always funny in those, especially early years, people thought we were in a space like this. We were in a garage, literally way outside of LA, where we would have to take breaks from filming because we didn't have air conditioning. And we were sweating so much that they'd be like, hey, we gotta like stop down. You're literally dripping sweat down your face because we're in a garage.
Powder wouldn't help with that.
No, there's really no help when it's like 200 degrees in a garage. And from there, that's really when YouTube launched. When we first started Clevver, YouTube was not even monetized yet. That's like how long ago this was. So I'm truly a digital dinosaur, which I mean, I love Jurassic World. But yeah, it's been really fascinating to see the rise and really take over. I mean, everything's digital now.
Yeah.
Everything we consume, all the content, whether it's short form, long form, movies, TV, whatever, it's all digitized. But I remember back then, my parents were always really supportive, but maybe some friends would be, so when are you going to get like a real job? How long is this going to last? And I always just really in my gut felt that this was the future. And thankfully it's panned out. But really exciting to be a part of it from the origins, really, of premium content on YouTube. And we started in 2008, which was, I can't even do the math. That's a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's 17?
17 years ago. Isn't that weird? Wow. And it's weird because I'm only 14. So I don't understand how this is happening.
Yeah. I don't either.
Yeah, it's weird. But so many people I meet, you know, I'll mention the date to them or whatever, and I'll be like, it's okay. You were in elementary school. It's fine. It's okay. We can say what you're thinking. But it's been really exciting to just see how things have taken their course and to see, for example, I remember maybe early 2010, someone from YouTube got on Dancing with the Stars. And and then she was on the cover of Teen magazine, and I was just like, oh my gosh. It's all happening.
Wow.
And now, obviously, I mean, it's just a complete merge of entertainment. It's all entertainment. So, anywho, that's a very long-winded answer to, I don't even know if that was a question.
It wasn't, but
there
that's
we
okay.
go.
You jumped right in. Well, I guess what gave you the confidence or maybe just the curiosity to pour everything into something that wasn't guaranteed? Like, what was driving you back then?
Great question. So I went to college in hopes of pursuing a career in broadcast journalism, which in many ways is what I have ended up doing, just in a different format. And something I always really encourage people with, especially young people, when I'm talking to them about their future goals or their plans or things feeling impossible, whatever the case might be, I always tell people you have to stay as open as possible. Because when I was a kid growing up, even when I was in college, YouTube did not exist. Digital video was not a thing. Facebook was not a thing. I was one of the first classes of Facebook because I was actually going to college when it was invented, which is so wild, the Facebook. And here I am all these years later, and I've built an entire career on these things that did not exist. So I think just maintaining being open to whatever the future might look like, being willing to take risks, being willing to fail, because I think a lot of people just don't start. They're like, I gotta have everything
perfect. Because they're too afraid. Yep.
And failure is just gonna happen. Like, if you don't fail, that kind of freaks me out a little bit. It's like, oh, things are feeling a little too good here. But in terms of the confidence, honestly, I probably have to, I've always been delusional.
Delulu.
Delulu, a little Delulu. And I think that's nature and nurture. I think I was just born with that Delulu gene, whatever you want to call it, confidence.
That's really helped you.
So much. It really has.
Fake it till you make it.
And I was telling Chris recently, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm 43. Do you think I'm too old to be in the Olympics? Like, I've always thought if I worked hard enough, I don't know, I could be doing the bow and arrow or something at least. And he's like, no, I think you could do it because he's also Delulu. So we have this great partnership where
you're both
Delulu really
Delulu.
is the Salulu, and it's really served us well. But my parents too. My parents have always been the kind of people who instilled just really a strong work ethic in me. And I've always had this belief that I could work, if I worked hard enough, I could really do pretty much whatever I wanted. That is not always the case. I'm not on the women's Olympic gymnast team. Not that that was ever a goal, because in my mind, I'm like, if it was, I could have done it. That's how wacky I am. But I really think it's just a nature-nurture thing, and I have failed so many times. And I think I'm just okay with that being a part of the process. Instead of being super scared of it, I kind of not welcome it. I'm not like that adjusted. But I think that's allowed me to take risks, just knowing that not everything is going to work, but I'm not going to have regrets of why didn't I try this? Why didn't I go for this? And who knows, maybe my next thing has not been invented yet. Like maybe my next venture, or maybe I'll be in space, Dina. Who knows? I don't think I will, but you just never know.
How did you first get involved with it? Like, how did it?
Like the Clevver days, you mean?
Yeah, like
back
what
then?
drew you to that team, and I guess you talked about what were the early days like behind the scenes, so you don't need to say anything like that. But
Sure.
how did that
all come together?
come together?
So when I got hired at Clevver, it was just through your normal Los Angeles hosting audition. So when I graduated from college and I had been pursuing a career in hard news, and I had gone to DC, I had interned in all the hard news places, I really was obsessed, and you'll think this is hilarious, like knowing me now. I was obsessed with people taking me seriously and being like a serious person. I
really
cut my hair short. I would wear business suits and sweater sets.
Oh my goodness.
I wore fake
Not you now.
I wore fake glasses because I thought I looked smarter and people would take me more seriously.
Stop.
Which is so funny because Chris is always like, what do you think would have happened if we met in college? I'm like, definitely nothing. I was so serious, okay? I was a serious gal back then, and now I'm literally the polar opposite of what I was going for. But I realized when I graduated college, I was like looking at jobs and sending out my demo reel and thinking about moving to one of these smaller markets. And realistically, when you're getting into broadcast journalism, this is over 20 years ago, I wasn't struggling with the concept of working my way up at all, but I knew I would be covering really dark news for most of my career until I could hopefully reach the pinnacle of doing like a news magazine show, maybe like a GMA or a Today Show, which is everyone's goal. And one of my girlfriends at the time was an agent, and she said, Joz, you should really pursue hosting because there's a lot of flexibility there. You could do more lifestyle-centric content. And I had never been in an audition in my entire life, did not know what having an agent looked like. Long story short, that was kind of how I got integrated into the hosting world in LA. And this is before digital. So I was going on auditions for all sorts of things, working on all sorts of gigs. And so Clevver was just one of my many auditions. But the two people who had initially started Clevver wanted talent to come in who could also provide everything behind the scenes, producing, writing, et cetera. So that was really the origin. I was just like, this is another one of my hosting gigs that I'm doing. At the time, I had so many different jobs. I was the online host for ProjectRunway.com, which was probably like one of my bigger gigs. And then I just kept kind of following the opportunity, and it morphed into something substantial. I mean, I was there over 10 years.
Wow.
So yeah.
It's a long time.
It's wild. I know.
It's wild.
It really is. Thank God for Botox.
When did you start getting Botox?
You know what? That's a fun, Clevver story too. So I'll never forget. I was with Dina, my friend Dina, who we were the two people who were at the helm of Clevver for many years. And we were at a screener for a junket we were going to cover for a movie called Monte Carlo that was starring Leighton Meester and Selena Gomez and someone else. I'm blanking. We were sitting there. We were 29. We were both 29, which is so young, by the way. And we were watching on the big screen and we're like, oh my gosh, their skin looks so amazing. And then the next day, we both made Botox appointments. Yeah. And I've never looked back.
That just inspired it.
It really did. Yeah. Yes. No regrets.
Nobody really does, unless you get too much of it and your face starts looking deformed. So then there might be some regrets there.
Yes.
And then they just keep putting more in.
And then I know. You got to go to a doctor who takes photos of you and can remember what you looked like originally. Mm-hmm. So the more you know, insert that NBC star thing, the more you know, because you can go too far. Mm-hmm. Which I've done before, but whatever.
It's okay.
It's okay. It's a part of the failing process.
You look great now, so it's okay.
Thank you.
Are there any, I'm sure you have billions of stories, but are there any standout stories from those days?
There are endless standout stories.
Give me like one
from those days.
I won't need too many.
Gosh. Well, one that literally just popped into my mind was towards the end of my time there, and I had been working there for a long time. We had sold the company. We had been acquired. We had merged with another company. We were big in the digital space. I think at the time we had like 11 million subscribers. And I'll never forget Shania Twain, who I had loved growing up. I mean, man, I feel like a woman.
Yeah.
What an anthem for women and people everywhere.
100%.
Her team reached out to me. She had not made an album in like 20 years. She had been off the scene, doing her own thing, dealing with her personal life. I think she maybe had some health issues. And they reached out to me and they were like, Shania is coming back and she wants to do a live stream to announce her album. And she wants to do it with you. And I was like, what?
That's amazing.
So confused. But obviously said yes immediately. And it was the next day. And I was also going to produce it. And so we had maybe, 12 hours to get a whole crew. And I mean, when it's Shania, like you're hiring the top-notch people for lighting, for all of the things. Mm-hmm. And it was just so wonderful to A, have that opportunity, B, she's an icon, absolute icon. And then C, gosh, she was one of those people who showed up with an entourage of maybe two people, like a friend and a makeup artist. And so I've really found that throughout my career, especially on the entertainment side with celebrities, that the people who are at that top level are typically, in my experience, the most kind, most generous, most down to earth. And they're, that phrase, don't meet your heroes. Sometimes it's okay. So anyways, that was one story that popped to mind but there's endless. I mean, we had so many wild experiences. Like going to Ariana Grande's house for lunch when she was on Nickelodeon. And she was like, I want to make music. And she's like, do you think I should do that? And I'm like, I think you're a good singer. You know what I mean? And she was like 15 at the time or something. So stuff like that, because we were really covering young Hollywood.
Right.
So now these people are
big.
The Zendayas of the world, Selena Gomez, whoever. It's been fun to watch all of them. The Justin Biebers, all these people. It's been fun. I'm so invested in all of their happiness. Which it may be weird, but I am.
So now looking at where you are today, how has your relationship with risk or uncertainty evolved? And do you approach big leaps differently, or has that same fire stayed with you?
I think the same fire has really stayed with me. I consider myself to be someone who takes very calculated risks. So I'm not haphazard. I never really have been. But I'm not scared to try new things. I think that's where the Delulu-ness has really served me, is that I'm like, yeah, we can figure this out. We can do it. And thankfully, I have a husband who's on the same wavelength with that. There are certain things I just don't have. Being a mom now, there are certain things maybe I don't necessarily have time for right now, which is totally fine because I'm just in a different phase of life. Yeah. But no, I'm a pretty risky I'm a pretty edgy person. I'm not really. I think if you say you're edgy, you're probably not. But I don't think I'm really risk averse, except with my portfolio of money. LOL, that also sounded really serious.
I promise she's not a serious person.
I'm not. I wanted to be, and like life really took me in a different direction.
What's so cool about your journey is that you've been part of this massive shift, right? From the early days of Clevver, when traditional media still had all its guardrails, and now where creators and entrepreneurs like you are redefining what a media company looked like. How has that evolution felt from the inside?
From the inside, at the very beginning of just the genesis of digital video specifically and YouTube specifically, it was very much the Wild West. And it still is to a certain extent, because I love the idea that you have an idea for a podcast. We are now doing a podcast.
Yeah.
We did not need to ask the head of whatever studio, may we start a podcast and will you sit down with us to vet us?
No, you can just start.
I have an idea. I'm going to do it. I'm going to put it on TikTok tomorrow. Great. I love how it's really even the playing field. That being said, we all need to also make a living. So in terms of YouTube, 20 years ago, transforming into a legit way for people to make a living, that was where things really have shifted over the last 20 years. And I would say as YouTube specifically grew and more eyeballs were coming there and more people were creating premium content, that's where advertisers started taking note. And I would say being on the inside, when money really started coming into, there did not used to be ads on YouTube videos. Isn't that weird to think about? Or on Instagram or anything. There was nothing. It was just all for fun.
Yeah.
So once, money and advertising really started coming into the space, that's when you really started noticing a shift. YouTube did an initiative probably 15 years ago where they made a statement to Hollywood, basically, just like the media space, we are going to invest $100 million into 100 new YouTube channels. Anyone can apply. And so Madonna got a channel. Nicole Richie got a channel. A ton of celebrities got channels. And then Clevver, we, put our little packet together and we got 3 channels.
Wow.
And at the end of the year of that $100 million investment, which it wasn't like $1 million per channel. Like some channels were getting like $5 million.
Yeah.
Some were getting like $5. At the end of that year, many of these bigger name companies or celebrities, their channels couldn't survive because it was just new, like in terms of how much money and effort goes into this kind of content. And our channels did, which is exciting.
Yeah.
So that was a big turning point, I think, when you look at YouTube at large. But I always tell people the moment you feel like you figured anything out and you're like, got it, I've got the secret sauce, like the danger of irrelevancy is right there because you'll never figure it out. It's like you always have to be molding and changing.
It really seems like this has allowed people to kind of be more creative.
For sure.
In so many ways that wouldn't have been possible before.
Mm-hmm. I look at my TikTok algorithm and it's all like 45-year-old guys doing Britney Spears choreography. Like, would that have been on TV? Probably not.
No.
But that's fun for me to watch.
Yeah.
So there really is some sort of creativity.
That's really hilarious that you watch.
You don't? I'm going to start sending them to you.
Don't.
Oh my gosh. Because Britney Spears is in her 40s too. So her original dancers are out there and they are.
Oh, it's those guys.
Oh my gosh, they're so amazing.
Oh, please send me them. I'll watch.
I will. Brian Friedman. Oh my gosh, she's amazing. Yes.
So how do you think of success differently now than you did back then? Or do you think of it differently?
That's a great question. I do think my definition of success has changed throughout my life, the things and based on the goals that I have. So for me right now, at the point I'm at in my life, success for me is really harmony. This is controversial, but I have given up on finding balance. I just find that for me, it's very discouraging to be like, why isn't everything balanced? Why is this happening and I can't get this in balance? So now I'm just like, you know what? your girl's looking for harmony. Some days my job requires more energy. Some days my marriage requires more energy. Most days my baby requires more energy, but that's just where I'm at right now. So how do just all of these things work together for a harmonious life and a harmonious emotional, mental, spiritual, physical state? That's really success to me. But I love working too, and I love being creative and coming up with new concepts, and whether it's like a recipe or a show or whatever. But for me at this point in my life, specifically as a new mom, I really have to just give myself grace. Like, you cannot do everything. Or what did I hear? Like Kelly Ripa said, you can have everything. That is true, just not at the same time. So just kind of giving myself a pass. And I feel like I've been okay at it, thankfully, because entering motherhood in my 40s, I've had the amazing luxury of seeing so many people go ahead of me and share so much wisdom with me. And so I think walking into this part of my life, this new part of my life, I've just really focused on, it's just like, some days I don't take a shower, and that's, or the dishes are not done, or I need to get an extension on a project or whatever, and that's okay. So success has definitely like molded based on what my goals are. And my goal right now is harmony.
I love that as a goal, though.
Yeah.
I think everybody tries to achieve this like perfect balance, like you were saying.
It's hard.
And you get caught up in being like, when is the balance going to happen?
I was looking for over 40 years and it never happened. So I'm
Maybe
like,
it
I'm
doesn't.
good.
Maybe harmony is a better way to present it. It's like I'm looking for all of these to feel good at once. And if it's kind of interesting because sometimes for me, there are days where I'm busier and there are days where I get to just hang out with my kids. And that's okay too.
Absolutely.
It's okay to have the ebbs and flows, especially when you don't have a 9-to-5, right?
Exactly. And I also think, oh gosh, every day I'm like, this is the tiniest my baby will ever be. This is the youngest she will ever be. And I used to see these moms on Facebook who'd be like, my son, Bob, I can't believe it. He's 54 today. And I was like, lady, he's 54. Like, come on. But now I'm like, I get it. It's so wild. So I really do want to like relish in this time as much as possible. And that is what brings me joy and peace. And the other things can come later. This cannot for me specifically.
Right.
And I have the privilege of being able to make my own schedule, have my own business, which most people do not. So if that means I'm a little unbalanced sometimes, so be it.
Well, It sounds like there's been an evolution and you're incredibly entrepreneurial, right? So you've built such a deep connection and community online, but was there ever a moment where you hesitated to show the new side of yourself? Like, will people get this version of me since you were so used to like portraying this host and then it's transitioned? So
yes, I think yes. The answer is yes. Because you wonder when most of my career was in entertainment news, hosting, which is not about you. It's about the other person, the other project. And I wondered, like, do people even care? Like, do they care about? But back when I was at Clevver, we really started launching into the lifestyle space and doing more personality content, which was about us. And I was honestly shocked. Like, people care? This is fun. This is cool. And I really think when I listen to podcasts, when I watch, like on the way here, I was listening to Giggly Squad, which is such a fun podcast. You feel like you're listening to your girlfriends just talk about the most ridiculous stuff and giggle a lot. And I feel that in the same way, that's kind of what we were doing at Clevver. And that is what I think gave me a sense of confidence moving into the next chapter, which was when I left Clevver and started on my own again, really. But it is a learning curve. It's definitely different all the time. There's different platforms, there's different rules, there's different algorithms, there's different audiences. So you can never really get too comfortable.
what helped you move through that?
I think I was really excited for the next step. I had been at Clevver for over 10 years. Long story short, Clevver shut down. The parent company shut down. I stuck with Clevver to help it sell to Hearst, which is a major media company. I stayed through the transition. And then I was on my own, and I was actually really excited because I had contractually never been allowed to have my own YouTube channel, to explore any other interests, to really do anything besides what I was already doing. So I was very ready to move on and very excited for the opportunity to do that. I'm very grateful for the audience that came with me. But you really are starting over when you launch something like that. Like, what do people even want to see from me? And what also feeds my soul creatively?
And are these people going to like stick around?
And they don't always.
Right.
And that's okay too. So it just continues to be a learning experience. But I was very, very excited and very ready to take that next step.
And that kind of helped you trust the process, that you would just... The
and
excitement.
Trust myself, trust the process, trust myself. I have great people that I work with. I had to really trust myself. I'm not the top expert, but I've been doing this for a really long time. And I'm also very much like, I love a wolf pack. I'm a team player type girl. I'm not a solo wolf out there. I like working with other people, collaborating with other people. And I've been able to work with really amazing people, whether it's people that are filming for me, editing for me, the list goes on. And so knowing that I had a support system like that, maybe not that I was working with every day, but that I could reach out to for help or advice or to hire for a shoot or whatever, was really great and still is. I do miss working day to day, like side by side with groups of people, but I don't miss getting up at 4:30 a.m.
I don't know who would.
So, there's pros and cons. Although, LOL, when you have a new baby, what is sleep? So,
yeah. Fair.
Yeah.
Fair. What's something you've had to let go of, whether like an old rule, expectation, or narrative that made room for more ease and joy in your life?
Something I've had to let go of.
Like a story.
I think something I've had to let go of since becoming a mom is that not everything's going to get done. It's just not. And that might sound simplistic and easy, but if you're like a textbook overachiever type achieving person, which that's great. I mean, that's what I would consider myself to be growing up and into adulthood and my career. That's a good quality, but it's also not always. You can tend to be a perfectionist, overwork, be a workaholic, which definitely I have been textbook of. But now I'm just in a different phase of life where I've had to kind of give myself the permission to just let some things go. Like, not everything is going to happen as it was happening before. And that has been a struggle, like figuring out the time management of it all. I'm definitely someone who loves outsourcing. I'm not afraid to ask for help. And I really do think a lot of people have asked me like, oh, what's it like being a geriatric millennial mom or whatever the word,
Why do you have to use the terminology?
Whatever the words are, right? I know we need
Why do people need to make you feel old when you're not old?
I'm like, have you seen my Botox? Okay, we already talked about it.
So young.
Thank you.
I am young. Hello.
Thank you so much. Also living in LA, what is age? I see people and I'm like, or is that like, what do you think? 45, 15,
so
72?
Hard to tell sometimes.
No idea. And I love that. Right? But I'm like, oh, what was the question even? Letting something go.
Yeah, you talked about it already.
Letting something go.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's just things that don't get done, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And I say that for myself.
It is okay,
too.
though.
Yeah, it is okay, though. Yeah.
Because your daughter is more important.
Yes.
Family is more important than anything else.
Totally agree.
If you have to drop everything and be there for your family, that's what you should do.
Absolutely.
And nobody should ever question you for it. And if they do, you can tell them.
No. See ya. Yeah. See you later. This is the nice way of saying it. But that's why I feel really lucky that I do work with great people who maybe don't have their own kids or whatever, but align in the same way of like the people closest to you are the most important. So if you're a day late or whatever, not a big deal. Yeah.
So I want to, now that we've just started talking about motherhood, I'm just going to transfer into that. And every path looks really different. And I know yours was deeply personal. I'd love to hear about how motherhood has shaped you. So how has stepping into motherhood changed the way you see yourself or the world around you?
Gosh, that is a great question too. I think you don't really know how your perspective on yourself will shift until you're in it. I became a mom at 41, and it was something I had always wanted. I think it was perfect timing for us. I don't think I would have been, well, I mean, am I calling myself a good mom? Sure, I guess I am. I think in my early 30s, when I was really grinding, and in my 20s, I would not have had the time to, I mean, I could have made the time, right? But I was so focused on my career and accomplishments, et cetera, that I feel like it really gave me time to develop as a person and as a woman. And I always say, like, the most important lesson I've learned with parenthood is if you're going to do it with someone else, like, that's the biggest decision.
Make sure you want to do it with them.
With that person.
Because you're glued to them for the rest of your life, whether or not you stay together. Through that tiny human.
Yeah, exactly. And Chris is an amazing dad. I mean, he's one of 6 kids. Yeah. So, and he's the oldest. So I always knew he would be a great dad. But I think I just love being a mom. I think it's so cool. I know this is silly, but when you're just out and about and you're like, oh, this is me and my little family. This is like so fun. I would always see other families or other people with kids or my friends with their families or my nieces and nephews and be like, oh, what a cute little family. And now I'm like, oh, I think we're like a cute little family. This is awesome. And so in terms of how like I see myself as a mom, I honestly don't really know. I feel like I'm kind of early to it. But I'm also very aware of the fact that I don't know what I don't know. And maybe that's something that being in my 40s has given me, but I realize I have a lot to learn.
I think everybody does, and I think that that's an important
But I feel like some people seem like they like know
but they
all
don't.
of it. And I'm like, tell me everything, please.
The people that pretend or the people that say that they know everything probably know less than you do. They just want to boast about, they think that they're so smart. That drives me insane.
The 24-year-old babysitter. I'm just like, so what do you have to share with me? You just got out of you got your master's degree in early childhood. I'm asking everyone for tips and tricks. And thankfully, Chris and I have nieces and nephews and that we're very close with.
You're very open.
So I'm just like, yeah,
beautiful.
What are we doing? What's going on here? And I have great parents and I have a great relationship with my mom. And she's basically like Mary Poppins. We do not have the same personality.
The bag too.
Oh my gosh, yes. Pulling stuff out of her purse. Like, who wants nuts? Do you want a lodge? She has so much stuff in her purse. I swear she is Mary Poppins. But I've had a great example for me. So I feel really fortunate that I can just kind of think like, oh, what would my mom do? Or even ask, what would she do? Or ask my sister. And for those reasons, I'm glad I was like a little later to the game than them. I mean, my mom had me at 23. So, I mean,
she's young.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm always amazed when I think about that now as a first-time mom. I'm like, what the hell?
You probably didn't even know who she was at that time. I feel like in your early 20s, you have no idea.
No.
Life is so...
I still am figuring it out. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think my mom graduated college, got married the next week, had me the next year. And wow, right? But I mean, so full of energy and vivacity.
That's the thing.
Yes.
She had more energy.
Which I would say, I say this all the time, I'm so grateful for health.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so grateful for health. Oh my goodness, especially now needing more energy than I ever have in my life. So grateful.
Yeah.
Grateful for
caffeine
my
is your lifeline.
My 4th cup of the day. Let's be real.
Really?
Yeah, no, it's...
What time did you wake up?
I got up today at like 5:30, which is pretty normal. So, I mean...
I got up at like 6.
Just like a cup an hour until 2 p.m. I don't know. This is probably something I need to work through.
Maybe. Can you share a little bit about what the adoption process looked like for you emotionally and logistically?
Yes. So Chris and I always knew we wanted to adopt. We started dating, oh my goodness, almost 10 years ago. So wild. And for context, and I don't know if this is like a part of what you want to share, but our husbands have been best friends for...
How many years?
Oh, probably 20 years. Wow. Also, our mothers-in-law are best friends.
Yeah, I love that.
So like... Huge fan of the whole family.
Mama Lori.
Of the whole thing that's going on. Yes. Oh my gosh. Love Mona, love Lori, love Justin, love the whole family. And so Chris and I met 10 years ago and pretty much started dating right away, got married almost 6 years ago, and always knew we wanted to adopt. I had always just really been drawn to it for just, I don't even really know why. I just always felt very pulled towards adoption. Mm-hmm. There was no one in my family who was adopted. None of my super close friends growing up were adopted, although in adulthood, I do have close friends who are adopted. And I just always felt very pulled towards it. So I asked him when we first started dating if that was something that we talked about kids like on the first or second date. Mm-hmm. So I asked him if that was something he would ever be interested in or feel comfortable with, and he was immediately like, yeah, that sounds great. Awesome. So obviously there's a huge learning curve with parenthood at large, but with adoption specifically, there's just a lot that goes into it, and we knew nothing. COVID hit right after we got married, and we were also living in, you've been there, the tiniest apartment of all time, my bachelorette pad. And I just made a lot of assumptions about adoption that, we would never be, and these were just arbitrary. These were things I just made up in my own mind.
Right.
I was like, we would never
Stories you were telling yourself.
We would never be eligible for adoption, like living in this place. It's too little. Like they would never allow us. Would never allow us to adopt a child.
Who's they?
And, right. See, this is just arbitrary. And I also didn't really know what path to take or what classes to take or who to reach out to. And the list goes on, right? Then I had a friend who was a publicist that I worked with that I had just been very good friends with for many years through Clevver. All roads lead back to that place, I swear. People say the entertainment industry is like a bad place or whatever. I've met the most wonderful, wholesome people who will be that are stuck with me for the rest of their lives, including Chris. I mean, I really met him through Amazing Race, which is so random. But she had adopted at the time one of her daughters and now has 2 daughters that she adopted. And she was really like my professor of adoption. She shared all of the info with me of the path that they had taken. There are so many different ways to go about adoption, whether it's international or domestic or fostering to adopt, or maybe someone in your family has something going on and you choose to adopt a cousin or a niece or a nephew or whatever. So we really had a lot of learning to do. And for us, the ethics of adoption were very important because, this could be a whole separate podcast, but there is a lot of shady business that goes on within this world. And for us, it was very important that everything was on the up and up. And so we found a route that we felt comfortable with. We hired a great attorney. And for us, the process, so we didn't go through an agency, which I think is a question a lot of people ask. And I know people who have had positive experiences with agencies and who have had negative experiences with adoption agencies. But for me, that's really where the ethics, I wanted to make sure that the birth family, the birth mom, everything was super on the up and up because there's just endless stories. And sadly, a lot of them are true. And so we ended up finding an attorney that we love dearly, and the adoption process went pretty rapidly for us. I've heard of people, going through the process for 5 years, 10 years, and then it doesn't go through. The birth mom decides to parent the child, which obviously it's their kid. If they want to parent the child, yes, that's great. And so we were kind of just prepared for anything. So on the emotional front, first off, going through this process is a lot of work, as it should be. We are talking about a human life. So while it is a lot to get the background checks and the psychological evaluations and the physical evaluations and tell them everything about your life, Chris was filling out one of the forms. They were asking for all the siblings, and it didn't have enough space because he has so many siblings. Yeah. And then the social worker was like, where's the rest of your siblings? He's like, they just wouldn't fit on the page. The lady was like, no, we need all their info too. So, it's funny, but it is a lot of work. But rightly so. We're talking about a human being. And I think one of the things that was like a cool preparation for us going into parenthood is that in its own unique way, walking into adoption specifically, you have to, before you really do anything or meet your child you have to really fully surrender to the process completely. You have no control over anything. And So, even though we knew that we were hopeful that we were going to be adopting our daughter, we also knew that maybe it wouldn't work out.
Right.
And oftentimes for people, it does not. And so I think in a cool way, that really prepared us for parenthood in a way of, well, like anything is good news. Like we just take all the wins, like any little win, awesome, great. Like, because going into this process was such a leap of faith. I think all parenthood is a leap of faith, but this specific path is unique in that, some people even will take a child home and then they'll be reunified with their birth family, or if you're going through the foster care system, there's just a lot of surrender that has to happen on the front end. But you also have to be willing to put all of your love into this child immediately, which is like a really hard thing to do. Like surrender to the process, anything can happen. Also, you have to dive in with 10 feet, 10 toes, 10 arms, everything from the jump, because that's what this child deserves in life. So it's stressful. It's definitely very stressful, which is why we were very private. We didn't tell our parents that we were doing this until like a week before. And my mom thanks me all the time because she said she would have been so stressed out.
Yeah.
Like having a panic attack. So
because everybody's like rooting for you and then you have to cater.
Yeah. And it might not work out. And we were mentally and emotionally as prepared as you can be for that. But it's hard for everyone involved, honestly. So but the child is the main priority, and then the birth family, in my opinion, is the priority. And then last on the list is us. And that is the way we look at it, still look at it. And thank God it worked out. And our daughter is thriving. She's so cute. I say she looks like Chris all the time, which is wild. And we had a very positive experience, but it is taxing. So,
what's a piece of advice that you would give to somebody who is considering adoption?
That is a great question. I would say the main piece of advice I would give someone who is considering adoption is attempt to find someone that you know, even if it's like a friend of a friend or someone in your community or whatever. Attempt to find someone that you can sit down, someone that you respect and want to like emulate their life, obviously that caveat too, that you can sit down and talk to about it. Because I think having that one-on-one conversation with someone where you really can ask questions, share ideas, whatever, is the most valuable thing. And I'm also, like I said, I'm a big community, like wolf pack. I like being around people. So there's nothing more valuable to me than learning through relationships. And we are so fortunate to be able to do that. So I would say do that. And then when you're deciding what route you want to take, chat with multiple people, whether it's talking to an agency, talking to a lawyer. Take your time. You don't need to rush into anything, and really do your vetting on the front end and listen to your intuition and your gut. But I think talking to people is very, very valuable, because people will say like, oh, don't go that way. That person's done X, Y, and Z or whatever. And it's the same way you approach motherhood. If you're having a biological child, talking to friends what doctor delivered your baby, or what stroller did you buy? Or I just find that there's so much value in human connection more than anything else. So that would be like my main piece of advice, I think.
That's good advice. That's really good advice. And let's see. What do you hope your daughter sees in you, not just as her mother, but as a woman?
Oh my goodness. I hope my daughter sees in me that you can be a lot of things. You can be taken seriously, as I mentioned, was something I was obsessed with when I was young, but you also shouldn't be scared to be silly. And my main priority and goal for her is that I want her to feel so secure, so unconditionally loved, that she is confident enough to do whatever she wants. She can be a balloon artist. She can go to space. She can be in the WNBA. I really don't care, as long as she feels passionate about it, confident about it, and is a kind person. The rest we'll figure out, right? Mm-hmm. But for me, really, it just comes down to creating a safe place for her to be silly, have a fun childhood. I have no approach to motherhood except free range. She is a free range baby. So I just want her like out, having fun, doing all of the things, getting dirty. She kissed a dog the other day. You know what I mean? Doing all the things and then feeling confident enough to choose whatever her path will be. Because I'm really grateful to my parents. They definitely modeled that for me as I was starting a career that seemed like fake news. 20 years ago that I've been so passionate about, that has been such an incredible thing in my life. And that would ultimately be my goal for her.
I think that that's so important and so beautiful because I didn't always feel like I could be my authentic self. And I also want that for my kids. Like I never want to dim their light. I never want them to feel like they can't be themselves.
Totally.
And be silly and be loud and be whatever. I even had this conversation with Joslyn recently. I said, I never, like, sometimes we need to, like, we're in public, Dino needs to be, like, a little quieter when he's really loud.
Right, yeah.
And so we try to get him to, like, quiet down a little bit. But I said to him outright, I was like, I never want him to feel like he can't say what he wants to say or do what he wants to do. So we have to be very careful in how we
word it
and say that to him so that he never feels like he's being shushed.
Or being made to be smaller.
Yeah, exactly. Or
Personality wise. I never, because I think that's something we hear a lot about with women. You know, I'm always being told to be quieter, to do less, to stop being so much. You're so much.
I know.
You're so much. Your
I feel the
personality is
same
so
way. Yeah.
No,
I don't give a crap.
No. No, I don't either.
Gonna be me.
Yes. So, and I had someone recently tell me about our daughter, who, by the way, is a baby, okay? And I was joking around, oh, are you going to be a CEO? Or are you going to be an engineer? Are you going to be I don't know, one of those ribbon dancers? Who knows? And someone told me, I think it's so lovely how you're really allowing her to be who she will be. And I was like, okay.
That's how it should be for everybody, I think.
But that really showed me that there are people out there, like you're mentioning, who don't feel they had that freedom.
Yeah.
And who knows? I mean, like all of us, what did I want to do when I was a kid? Be a ballerina and a hairstylist and a judge.
Let them feel that way.
Right?
Yeah.
Do whatever you want. So
that'll change. When they're little, of course, they don't know what they want to
that's
do.
The
Maybe
goal.
they do, but yeah.
But we'll ask her in 20 years and then she can tell
ask
us.
her.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you could go back and offer the pre-motherhood version of yourself a little bit of reassurance, what would you say?
Gosh, assurance. I'm trying to really look back on what I was most concerned about. And I think with the adoption, the thing I was most concerned about is this going to happen? Are we setting ourselves up for heartache? And that is just a part of it. And we had to accept that. But it's so hard to do also. Yeah. And I think what I was telling myself then, and what Chris and I will always say, is even if we're not okay, we're going to be okay. Even if we're not okay, even if things are not okay, even if our circumstances change, even if this doesn't work out, that doesn't work out, whatever the case might be in life, in business, in family, with parenthood, even if it's not okay, we're going to be okay. And that is, it's crazy. I always think about my grandpa. He always told me, he was a pastor and he married so many people. And he would always tell me his only one bit of relationship advice and dating advice was, if you can, and you can't always, but if you can, try to get divorced before you get married. He's like, it's so much easier to get divorced before you get married. And that's something I always thought about as I was dating. And I'm so grateful that it led me to Chris, because I really think that if you are going to, like I said, have a child with someone, spend your life with someone, it's just the hugest decision. And I just was like, I should marry someone I want to be like. So every day I'm just like,
how can I be more like you?
Chris Reese. He's such a good person. Oh my gosh. He'll put me in my place sometimes.
Same with
Justin.
Justin.
Stop doing that. And I'm like, okay, you're right. Gosh, why are you such a good person? But I think that's the main thing, is that even when things have not been okay, and we've had all sorts of weird, crazy things, we all have, right?
It's life.
Whether it's loss or whatever it is, we're still okay.
I love that.
mean, you have to work through things. I'm not like
Of
oversimplifying it, but
That's what you would tell yourself.
yes, that's what I would tell myself.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's beautiful. And I'm going to kind of switch topics a little bit off of motherhood. You've built a huge presence online and you work with a ton of brands and partnerships. Have there been any that really surprised you in a good way? Things you were introduced to through deals or collaborations that ended up making a really big impact in your life?
Mm-hmm. I've always been very, I don't want to say picky, but I only like to work with brands that I really love and that I would actually recommend to people. I try to be very respectful of people's time, energy, and let's be real, money. Like eggs cost $100 right now. If people are buying something I'm recommending, I want to be really, really thoughtful about it. And for me, I've always said to brands, and right now I'm actually doing a long-term deal with a brand I think you like too, Pure Encapsulations, which is a supplement company that I've loved for a really long time.
Yeah, I noticed you posted about that. Congrats.
Thank you, and been using for a really long time. So it's really a dream collaboration. And what I love to take it to the next level with many of the brands that I've worked with over the years is I'm not like a one night stand girly when it comes to business.
You want a commitment.
I want a long-term relationship. I think I heard Cindy Crawford say that once. I don't know her. I would love to. I mean, she's stunning. But she worked with Omega watches, I think, for a long time. And she was the first person I heard talk about really when you're negotiating deals, working in something a little bit more long-term, which now we see a lot, but was not always the case when I was first starting out. And so now there's nothing I love more than a brand that wants to do something for a year or comes back to me and wants to work together repeatedly. And I think it really does come down to the authenticity. Audiences and people online are so smart. And they also understand that we need to do these kinds of things to pay our bills. But making sure it's also authentic and I'm not like slinging something like whatever. There could be a million things that I could be promoting that I've never used. People do that, right?
Yeah.
But I think people see right through it. And ultimately for me, that's just, I mean, I've said no to things before that just don't align with what I want to put out there. And that's hard because sometimes it's a lot of money and you're like, oh, maybe I could do this. Maybe no, I can't. I won't be able to sleep at night.
Right.
So, and I have a great team of people who are negotiating these deals for me, and I'm so grateful for them, and they really support me. They've told me before, like, we don't think you should do this. And I'm like, great. I don't think I should do it either. And so for me, it really comes down to the long-term relationship. I love a long-term relationship, especially with like a Pure Encapsulations or a Peak Matcha, which I've also worked with them and I love them because it's something I'm actually using and purchasing and already recommending to people.
Oh yeah, I buy Peak.
It's the best.
All the time.
I mean, you know about
I constantly
matcha.
have shipments. Justin's like, you got another Peak order? I go, yeah.
And you're probably, you know what? You're probably saving money by bulk orders. Tell him that.
I do subscribe and save for everything.
It's girl math, Dina.
It's 10% off when you subscribe and save.
You're getting it for free.
Basically.
Yes. If you need the girl math, that's the only kind I know.
It cancels each other out, right?
Exactly. Yeah. It's like when you do a return and then you
make
immediately buy,
money.
you are getting paid. When you do your Amazon returns, it's time to go buy a new bag.
Obviously, we know that that's not true. We're really joking.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. It's girl math, though. It's
girl math.
It's a thing. Yeah.
What does thriving look like and feel for you right now? I know you talked about harmony, but what is thriving? I know that's a very broad term and that's fine. It looks different for everybody, but what does that look like for you right now?
Yes, I think thriving for me right now as a new mom and also, as someone who got married in their late 30s, started a new business in my late 30s. Chris and I jumped into home renovation. I think I was 39 or 38, and now we've done like 26 or 27 homes, something like that.
It's insane.
For me, thriving is definitely scratching that itch to try new things, entrepreneurially, creatively, not boxing myself in, allowing myself the space to, I'm going to try this and see if it works out, if it doesn't, or maybe it does, right? I love that. But really, it does come down to my life right now and my family and this time that we're in with the new baby and finding the harmony in it all. Some of these things can wait, and we're still so new in our parenting journey and have so much to learn. But I'm also not afraid to ask for help. I feel so fortunate that we have part-time childcare. We have help with other things around our house. That's what gives me and Chris the freedom to pursue these fun dreams that we have career-wise that hopefully are creating this great path for our family down the line. But thriving right now is really, oh my goodness, sleeping. Wow. Humans need that. Humans need to sleep. We are sleeping now. Okay. Which is very exciting. And I know that sounds silly, but you don't know until you know.
Yeah.
And you have
truly.
2 kids, so you really know. And thriving for me right now is just finding that harmony in life. Getting excited to take a walk for an hour by myself and have a little bit of time to myself. But really, my life right now is more about being a mom and giving myself the grace to say like, oh, well, I guess we're eating leftovers, me and Chris, because it's just like how it works, right?
Yeah.
So I feel as though I'm really enjoying this time of life because walking into it was such an unsure experience. I feel like that's given me a level of gratitude I honestly don't know if I would have had otherwise.
Yeah,
so,
that's beautiful.
Not to say it's easy, like, hello, life is hard, right? But thriving is just harmony. That's why I don't sing. You can cut that out if you want. People's ears are literally, their earlobes are being blown out, eardrums.
And before we wrap, I want to leave you with a couple reflections. I know we talked about pre-motherhood self, but if you could go back, what's one thing you would tell like your younger self?
That's such a great question because
I've gotten like 5 great questions from you. You've liked my questions.
These are good questions because I'm used to being in your shoes. And so it's interesting to think about some of these deeper concepts. I'm like, maybe I should do more self-reflection. I think what I would tell myself, my younger self, just have a little more fun, a little bit more fun. I think I had a great childhood, but I was very serious, very high achieving. I'm what I would call a duck. So like above the water, when you see me out and about, I'm cool as a cucumber. I'm a chill gal. Nothing phases me. Under the water, I'm like, ugh. My little duck feet are constantly turning. My brain is constantly turning. And I think that's how I always have been. I think that's how I'm programmed. I think that has served me well in life. But I wish when I was younger, I would have just had a little more fun. I mean, I haven't missed out on anything, to be clear. Really lived my life, went to Cabo, went to a foam party in college. Like I lived my life, okay? Nothing sad happening here. But I think I was always so stressed out about like, am I going to get to this? Am I going to do this? What's my SAT? What's, all of the things. And I remember my parents being very concerned for me that I was like not having enough fun, which is so weird to tell your high school kid. But just a little bit more, just chill out a little less stress. How I would have found that, I don't know, but that would have, everything's going to be good in the end. So just like relax a little bit.
Chill out.
What's for you is for you.
Yeah.
Full stop.
Yeah. And then looking ahead, is there something you're doing now that you hope that your future self thanks you for?
I think the amount of time that I'm really giving myself to not be quite as hard on myself in terms of how much work I'm able to complete and really focusing on motherhood. I think that's something that I will never regret and that I think I'll be grateful for because like I said, I can do other things in 2 years, but will I ever get this time back? No. Do I also have help? Yes.
We all have, I have help too.
Yes.
Everybody needs help.
We all need help, whether it's from grandma or someone that's working for you or whatever. But I'm really grateful that I'm able to have this time with our daughter and spend this time with her and really watch her grow up, because I just know it's such a luxury. So many people, I mean.
And it's fleeting.
It's so fleeting. It's so bonkers. Like I told you, the woman on Facebook with her 54-year-old son, I'm like, before you know it, she's going to be 54. Chris is like, calm down. I'm like, oh my gosh. And how old will I be? I'll be like 200 years old by then. Oh my gosh. But I think that's a great investment. I think anything involving relationships, whether it's to yourself or other people, are never, if they're positive, not toxic, that is the best investment of time.
Agreed.
And it will serve you even in business. That was one of the best business things I ever heard from Ellen Bennett. I saw her at a panel recently. She's a chef. She said, just stay in touch with people. Just stay in touch. Just if you think of someone, just reach out and say hello. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I love talking to people. It's great advice.
Perfect. That is good advice. Yeah. I've heard that similar advice.
Yes. Just stay in touch. Just say hi to people.
Everybody wants connection.
Yeah. Cheers to that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. This was so fun. Dina, this is like our maiden voyage. We've been with these guys for so many years, but I don't think we've ever done like a solo
This was so fun.
date. And I'm so happy for you.
Yeah, thank you.
I love that you're doing this. I hear constantly from people, that I'm too late to try this or do this or whatever.
No.
New relationship, new career path, new hobby. You are never too late to start something new. And this is awesome. I think this is going to really resonate with so many people.
Thank you.
And I just can't wait to see you at the Webby Awards.
The Webby Awards.
Yes. Isn't that what the podcast? Or now they're getting Emmys, actually.
Oh, cool. Maybe I'll get an Emmy.
Let's go. Let's aim for that.
We'll aim for an Emmy.
If you need some Delulu help, I'm your girl.
I'll
see you at
reach
the
out.
Emmys, okay?
I'm going to end with a little prayer.
Oh, I love that.
May we carry what we need, release what we don't, and stay open to the magic that is still unfolding. Thank you for sipping your matcha and sharing your heart with me today.
Amen. I love it. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Cheers. Cheers. Salute, as they say.
Thanks for listening to No Matcha, No Mama. If you loved the episode, leave a review, share with a friend, or come say hi on Instagram. If you want to connect with my guest, Joslyn Davis, you can find her literally on all the different channels at Joslyn Davis. And remember, thriving takes intention. See you next time.